why cryptocurrencies are actually were born, right? It's because the people who are responsible for the money supply sometimes aren't as trustworthy as we want them to be, right? As people working in civil society. And so I'm going to ask you a question. If you were to create a currency that you can transfer digitally across every country directly from person to person, how would you do that? What would be the characteristics of that currency, right? If I could just log onto my computer today and buy something in whatever, what's your name? What's your name?
But how would you value exchanging if you create your own cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
But you have to deal with exchanging into the other currency which you might want to use in your country. So if you carry it into another country with you,
right?
But how you deal
So
with
are you
exchanging?
carrying it? Because it's digital now, so you don't have to carry it anymore, right?
No, yeah. But it's like you have it.
So you have it somewhere, right?
But how do you exchange it into different, or how you cooperate with other like currencies, or how do you exchange it so you can actually use your cryptocurrency?
So that's the first problem of any new currency, right? If I'm creating a new currency, how do I actually get it to have value? Because you have to trade it for something in order to establish an exchange rate, right? And so that's what happened with Bitcoins in the very beginning, right? So Bitcoin is the first or second, depending on how you look at history, cryptocurrency, right?
I think it was mostly just successful one from most of the others that were trying to go out.
Yeah, so it was one of the very first ones, right? And one Bitcoin, right, which is today worth about, I think, something like $12,000, one Bitcoin, right? 15 years ago, it was worth, less than a cent, right? It was much, much less than a cent. When it started, it had that very problem that you mentioned. How do I give value? I can create a currency on my computer. How do I give it value, right? Because as we established, it's not about whether it's paper or coins or digital. It's about what people think, right? And so the first person who bought and sold Bitcoins, for example, bought a pizza in New York City for 14,000 Bitcoins. 14,000 Bitcoins for one pizza, right? That sets a price, right? Pizza is what, $18, $20, $15, right? And so if you do the math, right, how much is a Bitcoin? At that point, it was like 0.00001 cent, right? It was ridiculously low. That currency was worth nothing, right? You had to buy 14,000, you had to spend 14,000 Bitcoins.
Yes, right.
Right?
No, I think it was pie.
But then someone said, but then what did that do? So everybody else who had Bitcoins knew that they could get a pizza for 14,000. So at that very moment, that problem was solved, right? The first time someone actually gave an physical thing for Bitcoins, that problem was solved. The exchange rate was set at that time, right? And after that, it's just about what's the demand, what's the supply, what are people willing to pay for it, right? And that's what sets just normal currency price as well. What are people willing to give you for that money, right? So if I can buy now, now I can buy condo with Bitcoin, right? In some countries, right? So, all right. So let's do a little thought exercise about what would an ideal currency function like on the internet, right? And so we'll talk a little bit about Bitcoin. First, you have to establish a value for it, but ultimately, what's more critical with a digital currency is how do you transfer it, because it doesn't have a paper or a coin representation, because you can't exchange it physically, right? How do you make sure that I can't just give you my Bitcoins and then turn around and give her my Bitcoins, right? That's called double spending.
Can you use the same Bitcoin slice?
Well, just think about it. If you have a CD, right? If you have digital music, right? And I buy this CD, now I can just copy it and sell it on the street, right? Everything that's digital, because you can copy it again and again and again and again without any loss. Like you can't just photocopy a dollar bill. It's not the same. But everything that's digital, you can literally copy over and over and over again, and it doesn't lose anything. It's the exact replica, right? And so that's one of the major problems with cryptocurrencies that we first have to solve. If something can be copied over and over and over and over, it seems like it's going to be pretty hard to create a currency out of it, right? Because that's one of the fundamental parts of currencies is you don't want it to be copied, so that's the first question. How do you keep it from being copied and used? And that's called double spend, right? If I buy something on Amazon and I give you dollars for it, I no longer have those dollars. But with a cryptocurrency, like, who's going to know? Right? Because I'm not going through the bank. I'm just going through from you to you, right? Or you me to you directly.
Yeah, there's no third party.
So exactly, there's no third party, right? So what's the typical way to solve the double spend problem is with what's called a trusted third party, right? And so if I give you my Bitcoins and you give her the cake, and then she checks, okay, I have the Bitcoins, I have the cake,
And then the
give her the
transaction
Bitcoins,
Trust
and then you give me the cake. That's called a trusted transaction, right? Until we start going through her a lot, right? And once upon a time, like, something's going to happen in her life, and I'm going to give her $1 million, and you're going to give me a condo or an apartment in New York, and she's just going to run away because she has $1 million, right? Like, there's going to be some point where the trust is a third party isn't going to be trusted anymore, right? So how do you solve that for a digital currency? What if you can't trust the third party?
That's the thing that's happening now. People trying to figure that out now. People.
So Satoshi Nakamoto, his revolution with Bitcoin is that he figured out sort of most of the problems, but pretty much all of the problems. So the first one was, how do you give value to something and how do you prevent it from being copied over? The second one is, how can you remove the trusted third party, right, and have a direct person-to-person interaction without having to trust anybody else? Because if we involve the trusted third party, we're pretty much just replicating normal banks and normal money, right? We're going through the U.S. government, right, or the Venezuelan government to trust that they're actually emitting the right amount of money and they're not messing around with the economy, right? And so his response to that is the blockchain, right? And what a blockchain is
What blockchain?
blockchain. Right? So you're going to hear the buzzword blockchain around a lot in technology, right? It's a very interesting word that people use right now without really a lot of times understanding what it means, right? So what is a blockchain? So blockchain is pretty much a digital ledger. You guys know what a ledger is in accounting, right? So in accounting, what we do is we just list every transaction, L-E-D-G-E-R, a digital ledger, right? In accounting, what do we do when we set up the books for a business? What do you do in accounting? Or for your own taxes, what do? Every transaction, everything that you spend, you list. And you go down the list and you say, okay, I spent $10 on wine, and I spent $45 on a night out, and I spent $100 on internet access, and I spent $2,000 on rent. Everything that you buy or sell, you list, right, and who it went to. And that's what's called a ledger, right? And the people who hold our ledgers are the banks right now. So if you're going to build a digital currency, then who would hold your ledger? That's the question, right? Where would that ledger be? Because that ledger, in today's world, is pretty much the money, right? As you said very early on, money today is in here, right?
Or in here.
It doesn't matter whether it's a bunch of paper, but what's in your account is you trust what's in your account because Chase says that's how much you have in your account, right? And when they transfer money to another bank, they don't actually physically go and transfer bills, right?
Right.
They just change an account number in an account in a computer system, right? And so if we want to do the same thing, we want to get rid of the banks, then we have to figure out a way to get rid of the third party, right? And so the way Satoshi Nakamoto did that is by making the ledger public. Right? And so the ledger of every transaction, everything that you buy and sell, everything, if you go to your account online and you see everything, the way you use your money, right? That's how the bank keeps track of whether you're double spending or not, right? If you try to go on Amazon and buy something, right? The bank's going to take that out and it's not going to let you use that money again. That's right. They hold the ledger. Now, if you want to get rid of a bank, you have to put the ledger somewhere. But if I give you your own ledger and I have my own ledger and Kay has her own ledger, then what happens? right? I'm going to start double spending. You're going to start double spending.
So that means that you could buy twice with the same currency.
Exactly, right? Like if you, because nobody likes, the fundamental problem with money is no one wants anybody else to know how much money they have, right? So it would be very easy for us just to put our bank accounts, our ledgers up on the wall here, right? And then exchange goods and services, and if everybody could see that the math adds up, we're all okay. But we can't do that, right? Because I want you to know how much money I have, and you don't want me to know how much money you have. And so, how do you actually publish an open ledger online and keep it public, but at the same time keep it private, right? And that's what Satoshi Nakamoto figured out by using what's called encryption, right? And so, encryption allows you to basically hide information in a computer, right? And retrieve it. So by encrypting something, you're able to, create a secret message. And so that secret message is how much money do I have in my account right now, right? So you're going to take, I have $10,000 in my account. You're going to encrypt that, and you're going to say, okay, now it's X, A, B, Z, Y. And
right.
You can't know that it's $10,000. Right?
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So first, we're going to encrypt the ledger and say, now I have, I know how much money is in everybody's account. It's public to everybody, but it's encrypted. It's weird and random numbers, so we can't actually tie it to value, right?
How does that fall under the price matching concept when it comes to the cost of value of the different type of currency? Let's say to Bitcoin to, let's say, cash itself right now.
What is that?
If you understand that the ledger is public,
right,
and that it's basing, it's pretty much giving us the understanding of what the value of what the Bitcoins are to stake.
Of how much you have, not what the value is.
Okay.
Right? So the value is a separate concept. The value is your perception of what it is.
Okay.
Right? And you really can't, that perception is entirely within people. Right? That perception is never tied to the actual either digital or real currency.
I want to know how that interact with price matching when it comes to different types of currencies.
So when it comes to different types of currencies, the match between the price, so the exchange rate, right, is literally just perception, right, of different people, right? And it can be different today, and it can be different across countries, and it can be different across different exchanges as well, right? So if you have there's cryptocurrency exchanges there's multiple different cryptocurrency exchanges, and the price of Bitcoin is different on each and every one of them, right, by a small amount, right? Okay, so we figured out double spending, right? We figured out that we want a public ledger that's accessible so that everybody can see that the math is correct, right? And that you're not double spending. What else do we need to fix? We need to fix how an actual transaction, can come about, right? How an actual transaction, right? How does a transaction occur with Bitcoins, for example, right? And so if you want to, maybe you're in New York and I'm in LA, right? And you want to send me dollars, right? Right now you can go through Western Union, right? Western Bank, or an app, right? But then if Cash App fails or goes under business or they run away and Uber somewhere, what happens to the money, right? So how do you do that without having to trust Cash App, right? And so the way Satoshi sets it up is he says, okay, let's run an experiment. All of us are going to do transactions, right? So you're going to be spending with, let's actually do it. Let's actually run an experiment. Candy. This is money. I'm giving you money. I'm giving you money. I'm drowning you money. So pick a random amount, 1 or 2 or 3, and pass it out. So don't eat it yet.
Can I eat one?
Don't eat your money yet. Don't eat all your money yet. As long as everyone else fingers full.
Exactly.
Don't be selfish. Don't take everything. Leave some for everybody else.
I don't know how much money you have, right? Keep them hidden. Keep them hidden. Keep them hidden. You don't want anybody to know how much money you have, right? Oh, you got two. I don't know how much you have. All right, so let's do something, right? Let's do something in the world. Like let's exchange our money, right? So who's got a joke to tell? Who's a good short joke?
She's the one that jokes with the riddles.
Who's got good short
You
jokes?
was telling me that last night. I can't think of it right now.
You can't think of it right now? All right. So let's.
Can I get some more Bitcoins?
More bitcoins? Oh, you want to trade? You actually trade? You want to trade? You're giving me money for something that everybody got for free? Alright. Okay, so let's say you're buying, you two are buying something from each other, right? So you're giving him something, or her, and you're giving her something, and now someone has to pay, right?
Listen.
And let's all do that. Turn to the person to your right, and let's say that person gave you something, gave you a service. Like they came to your house and they did something for you. Now you have to pay them. Right? So turn to the person next to you and give them the amount of money that's worth their services. Right? Go ahead. And we'll bring it back. Don't worry about using your sheet. It'll come back to you. Did that happen? You guys exchanged
Oh.
it?
You gave me everything?
How do you know that's everything?
Alright, so what's the problem? Like, you exchange bitcoins. Did you exchange bitcoins with her?
I didn't get nothing back.
Oh, I exchanged with him.
You exchanged with him. Okay, so how much did he give you? How much did she give you?
$1.
One bitcoin. Right? You gave her one bitcoin, right, for some kind of service that you did for her. Great. What did you exchange?
We didn't like to spend our money.
You're not going to spend your money on exchange? Okay, good. What did you exchange?
I exchanged mine.
I went to the
One bitcoin for that. Alright, good.
I provided a service to you.
So
Fine,
what
yeah.
I'm going to do now is I'm
Here,
going to say,
Latoya.
you have pen and paper?
I-
You have pen and paper?